Wrestling fans, now you too can look as cool as Monty and the Pharaoh by wearing the official Monty and the Pharaoh sunglasses at night for $8.99 each. That's only $8.99 each. Now available at montyandthepharaoh.com. We know what you're thinking. Did they fire off 6 fascinating points of interest or only 5? Well, to tell you the truth, in all the excitement of watching and listening to Long Island's #1 wrestling podcast, I've actually forgotten myself. But being this is the Monty and the Pharaoh from Indie Music Studios in Ronkonkoma, and the fact that they were talking to yet another champion wrestling star, one of the most powerful and talented performers from the wrestling franchise, and not to forget, well-informed and provocative interview questions asked and answered. It was such an interesting and entertaining hour, the questions nearly blew your head clean off. Now you've got to ask yourself a question. Do I feel lucky? Do ya, punk?
What? Yeah. No, I'm behaving myself. No, I'm not playing in abandoned buildings. What? Again? Now, I suppose you had those people follow me again. Fine. Hey, this is Jimmy Farrow from Monty and the Pharaoh, and I want to thank all our subscribers. We have now passed 14,000 on our YouTube channel. But I want to ask our subscribers to take the next step for us and become a full-fledged member of Monty and the Pharaoh. Yeah, that's right, folks. There's 3 different levels to choose from. There's free shirts. There's free autographs. Just check it out and become a member of Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast, Monty and the Pharaoh. Later.
Okay, folks, Monty and the Pharaoh, the AEW apologist. That's me, Mike Messier. Week 9. So, in the professional wrestling world, folks, if you're a fan of All Elite Wrestling and or World Wrestling Entertainment, what's going on in the wrestling world? Well, obviously, people are having a full gear hangover. Now, by the time you see this video, you can go anywhere and see all the match results. You can hear people grade the matches. I did unsubscribe to Mike Messier YouTube channel. I did a full live stream after the show. My buddy Crosby Tatum actually attended the show live and in person, and he was able to stream with me from the actual arena and give his firsthand account of what it was like to be a fan. Now, Monty and the Pharaoh, AEW apologist, we want to expand the conversation a bit and talk about what's going on here with AEW. And I think it was a strong week for AEW. There's some things that could be improved. One thing that I predicted months ago, before Rampage even hit the air, my prediction, which I got a lot of flack from, even from AEW fans, was that Rampage would diminish the quality of Dynamite, which I believe it has. And I think that, I'm just being honest here, I think Rampage is in a tough spot. It's on a Friday night at 10 o'clock Eastern. A lot of wrestling fans have just watched WWE SmackDown. People are kind of getting the idea that Rampage is not must-see TV by any stretch of the imagination. You'll see some good matches. You'll have a couple of promos. But for the most part, you can skip it and still be an AEW fan. I think similarly, back when they were just doing AEW Dynamite for 2 hours on a Wednesday, you always had Dark on YouTube. I never watched Dark, or very often did not watch it. Sure, you can watch it, but you could also not watch it. Here's the delicate balance, folks, with pro wrestling and being a pro wrestling fan. you want to keep up to date with the storylines. You want to know what's happening, what's going on. There's another part of your brain that just wants to see a good wrestling match. So if you're kind of divided, do I need to put all this time into seeing good wrestling matches if the storylines are not being developed? That's why when you think about things that even the WWF used to do, Sunday Night Heat, you can go back to World Championship Wrestling. The Saturday night 605 was the hot spot. But they had all these other shows. They had the Sunday Night Main Event. Many of you may not remember that on TBS, Main Event 605. The first main event on that was actually great. Ric Flair, Tully Blanchard and Arn Anderson versus Sting, Lex Luger, and Barry Windham. So you can look into that. Dusty Rhodes wrestled Ivan Koloff on the first ever 605 show. So you did have some good matches, but quickly people discovered, okay, if I want to know what's going on with NWA, I watch 605, TBS, 2 hours, I'm good. And then I watch the pay-per-views. And if I catch this other syndicated stuff, so be it. WWF's been the same way for years. I mean, back beyond, it used to just be if you watch the Saturday morning, 11 o'clock Wrestling Superstars. Then it got to be, well, here's Challenge. Here's Gorilla and Bobby on Challenge. Anyway, I know I'm going through the whole goddamn history of every fucking wrestling show in the world, but the point is, do we really need fucking Rampage? I don't think we do. I don't think we ever did. But with this expansive talent and all these guys they're bringing in, and here we go with the segue, Jay Lethal. You know what I mean? Now we got Jay Lethal to deal with. And I'm taping this on Sunday, November 14th. 16th anniversary yesterday of Eddie Guerrero's passing, so viva la raza to Eddie. But if we look at this thing and we say Jay Lethal's here now, my opinion would be go ahead and let him win the TNT title. Sammy's not doing anything with it. Sammy didn't even defend it at the pay-per-view. He was in that stupid 10-man tag. So why not have Jay Lethal win the TNT title, and you've created a star, or you've not created a star in Jay Lethal, but you've made him an AEW star with the title when he first comes in, first match. I think that's a great way to go. You'll find out maybe by the time you see this or not. If you see this before Wednesday, if you see it on Thursday or after, you'll know if my prediction comes true. I'm just telling you what I would do as a booker. Now look, Full Gear was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. I went to the movie theater and I watched it. I thought it was great. The title change, Hangman Page, I think that's he had to win the fucking title, because the other thing is, sure, he could not win the title, but I mean, honestly, I think then you'd just be burying the character permanently. I mean, there comes a point with some characters, I'm trying to think of other situations like this, where if the guy doesn't win that big match, you're just going to lose confidence in this character. You know what I mean? You're going to lose interest. And kind of like Luger and Yoko. I mean, fuck, I go back to SummerSlam 93 when Luger won that countout victory over Yoko. Luger was done. You know what I mean? And so you hear these Bruce Pritchards and these other people say, well, he wasn't getting over and blah, blah, blah. It's like, well, if you had to win the title, as everyone thought he would, then he probably would get over. I mean, there's just certain things that especially WWE does. I guess I just listen to these Conrad podcasts too much, but it's always like the guy wasn't getting over with the fans. But the reality is, why wasn't he getting over with the... It's not that he wasn't getting over the fans. It's that you guys didn't book him to get over with the fans. They just lost Karrion Kross and Keith Lee. And the word is, well, Keith Lee had attitude problems and Karrion Kross wasn't getting over with the fans. Well, you put a fucking red demolition helmet on his head. Of course he's not going to get over. What else can I say? Now, here's the thing. I guess I just ask you, if you are a WWE fan, did you enjoy your week in wrestling? Or if you watch both, if you're one of the many fans who watches both, and you watched AEW and WWE, you had Roman Reigns versus Xavier Woods, and the stipulation, I didn't even see this fucking match, but it makes me sick to even think about it. The stipulation was if Roman, the winner, the loser of the match has to get on a knee. So Roman gets himself disqualified, and then the Usos, and then Roman gets on a fucking knee, and the Usos put the little crown on his head. Now, a friend of mine named Moro pointed this out. Why is the WWE so hung up on fucking kings? Like, isn't this something from, it's like a medieval thing. It's like, it's just so generic and it's so antiquated. Like, oh, he's the king. You know what I mean? And the kings always look like fucking assholes. I was watching that Crown Jewel thing, last month, and I give Michael Cole credit. They mentioned Don Morocco. He couldn't say Magnificent Morocco. I don't know if fucking what's-his-dick, Michael Cole, doesn't even know the guy's name was Magnificent Morocco. That's how people referred to him usually. But he's saying Don Morocco was the first king of the ring. Like, Cole was so happy to have this nugget of fucking information. The tournament took place in Foxborough, and I'll bet you $1 million fucking dollars Cole couldn't tell you who Don Morocco beat in the finals of that fucking tournament. Can you tell me? 1, 2, 3, Iron fucking Sheik. So, Michael Cole wouldn't know that thing. Because he's not a wrestling fan, he's not a wrestling historian. He's just a guy who's had a job in commentary for 30 years. And people really don't like Michael Cole. What else? My point is, if you're getting all hot and bothered about Roman Reigns, and I think Monty himself tweeted me this week, and tweeted Tony Khan, and I was the only one to respond, but basically saying, aren't you going to acknowledge Roman Reigns Friday night? And the answer is no. Roman Reigns skipped a WrestleMania. Roman Reigns, the Corona WrestleMania, Roman skipped it. He did not show up. Braun Strowman took his place and beat fucking Goldberg. Why did they fire Braun Strowman? You know what I mean? Braun Strowman was driving home to his farm or whatever the fuck when he gets a phone call from WWE saying, and he wasn't even booked for WrestleMania that year, 2 years ago. They said, what are you doing? He's like, I'm going home. I'm not booked for WrestleMania. They say, well, you are now. And so Braun comes back and he gets this title. And then we know the whole deal. But a year and a half later, who gets fired? Now, I know you assholes are thinking, but Mike, Roman Reigns had leukemia. Roman Reigns was in fear for his health. I get that. I understand that. But why are they putting all their fucking eggs in the Roman Reigns basket when he's proven that he has a health issue that takes precedent over the WrestleMania and over the championship? I'm not putting Roman down, and I'm not saying he's got to be ostracized. But why are we all getting all wet and fucking moist in the panties about Roman Reigns when at the first sign of trouble, he sits out WrestleMania? Would Ric Flair, for all the fucking people that don't like Ric Flair now, would he not show up at a Starrcade? With Hulk Hogan, who we all have the Hulk Hogan issues as well, would he not show up at a WrestleMania? Would Cena? By the way, I was just thinking the other day, that it seems like the summer of Cena was like 10 years ago. Like, I'm just trying to remember like this John Cena Roman Reigns feud in the match, and it seems like 5 years ago. It was like 2 months ago. Interesting. So there you go, folks. AEW had a very strong week. Yes, the Rampage ratings were down. Here's the other thing, folks. Everyone gets so hot and fucking bothered about the ratings. Guess what? If I watch the show, then I'm going to enjoy it. If I don't watch the show, I'm doing something else. Why do people care so much about the ratings? Does that affect you in your life? Like, Dynamite got over 1 million viewers this week. Raw got less than 2. What fucking difference does it make to your life? If 2 million other assholes watched a goddamn program that you watched or didn't watch, how does that affect you and your standing in life in society? Answer, it doesn't. I mean, too many fucking wrestling fans put too much weight into pro wrestling. Yes, I'm a goddamn wrestling fan too, but I have other interests, I do other things, and I don't revolve my life or my schedule around this goddamn wrestling. And maybe to an extent I do, but I've just learned with age, and I say this for the benefit of the younger wrestling fans, you have to kind of establish your own self 3 or 4 years ago, I put out a tweet or something, and I said, if you're not making money from the pro wrestling business, there's no reason to be a fan right now. Now, that was 3 or 4 years ago, and I felt that way then. I don't feel that way now. I feel like AEW has sparked a flame under the WWE's ass, at least with their fucking pay-per-views. They're better. My prescription for the WWE fans is watch their pay-per-views and skip their weekly shows. You'll be better off for it. It's a great prescription. It's a great way to deal with WWE. I think a lot of people who watch WWE now, they just hate watch it and they piss and moan about it, but they're not strong enough. They don't have the strong moral fiber character that I do to simply not watch the programs. So the nice 50-50 booking of your own life is watch the fucking pay-per-views. They give you all the goddamn information from the prior month's events, and then just watch the pay-per-views. Skip the weekly shows. Do other wonderful things. I just saw a fucking film, High Society, which I did a nice review for my own channel, and so forth. So the point is, if you're going to revolve your schedule around bending on your knee on Friday night, staying at home watching Roman Reigns wrestle, I don't know what to tell you. I really don't. I mean, he's proven that, you know, at this the first sign of trouble, he doesn't show up to fucking WrestleMania. Why should I revolve my Friday nights around this guy? Answer me. And I guess I'll ask you this, WWE fans. After what the WWE did to Killer Cross and Keith Lee, how can you justify emotionally investing into any more NXT talents? Answer me. I mean, people are getting all hot and fucking bothered about this Braun Breaker kid, this, you know, Scott Steiner's nephew, Rick Steiner's son. I just see that they're going to fuck this kid up. I mean, I tried to watch NXT the other night, and I mean, yes, the best thing going is Mandy Rose. And why? Because she's hot. That's all. I mean, it's not that she's this great talent, unique talent. She's a hot woman with big breasts who are formed in her suit nicely. And she's got a couple of hot friends who are the tag champions. I like that brunette the best, actually. But it's like, is that all? I mean, you know what I mean? And the thing is, this toxic abusidity, whatever they're called, toxic vengeance, we know that if they ever get to the main roster, Vince is going to screw them up anyway. You know what I mean? Like, they'll be like the gorgeous ladies of wrestling, the housewives, if you remember that tag team. You know, Vince was like, well, we've got to do something different now that they're on the main roster. You know what I mean? So I just don't get it. I'm trying to watch NXT, but they're like some asshole, Alvarez and Meltzer on their fucking wrestling thing had something. It was a headline. I didn't listen to the video. NXT is the Saturday Night Live of pro wrestling. And I said, you know what? That just sounds bad. I mean, if it sounds horrible to think that they're trying to do that, and then I watch some NXT, it's like, yeah, I can see the point. They're doing all these fucking skits because these wrestlers are sitting around at Full Sail University. They probably live on the campus or they have some hotel they live in, and they're just doing stupid skits. And I'll be honest with you, NXT doesn't appeal to me. It just feels like entitled wrestling brats at college. The wrestling landscape, it's not fucking Killer Tim Brooks taking a fucking bull rope on Bobby Jagger's forehead anymore, okay? It's not Bob Sweetin and Tully Blanchard in a cage on UHF with a staticky screen. This pro wrestling that we're watching now, or sports entertainment, it's so homogenized and whitewashed that, you know, I don't need NXT to further push that. I mean, the splash paint logo looks like something from Nickelodeon in 1993. It's horrendous, it's god-awful, it's stupid. And what keeps people watching, the little bit that they do, basically they have attractive women on the show. Like, okay, who's the one that got married? You know, the Australian girl, very attractive. Mandy Rose, precisely hot. You know, her friends are all gorgeous. This what's her name? The Air Master of the Air or whatever. Look, Lola Shirai or Sharia Low or whatever the fuck. Very attractive woman. So you watch because they're hot women. But are you saying that you enjoy the Saturday Night Live of professional wrestling? I don't. Now, I know you're going to fucking turn around this on me and say, well, what about Orange Cassidy? Yeah. What about this? What about that? I'll give credit to Orange Cassidy for his little lumberjack match. He actually had the lumberjacks wearing lumberjack outfits. Now, the whole history of professional wrestling, have you ever seen a lumberjack match where the lumberjacks actually dressed as lumberjacks? And so, to me, that's funny. That's comedic. Like, that's like kind of a why didn't anyone think of that before? Like, they had a fucking lumberjack match, Orange Cassidy versus Matt Hardy, I believe, and his lumberjacks actually dressed as lumberjacks. It's comedic. There you go, folks. So if you're watching WWE, if you're thoroughly enjoying it, continue to thoroughly enjoy it. I don't see the fucking point to it. I mean, I just see that my friends who watch WWE bitch about it more than they bitch about anything else, and they just feel like they're trapped watching this god-awful promotion because they have no choice in life. And what I'm telling you, assholes, is you do have a choice in life. You can either not watch it at all, or you can, meaning pro wrestling, or you can watch all these wonderful things on YouTube. You can watch AEW, you can watch New Japan. If you're just hate watching WWE out of loyalty, I call it laziness. You know, loyalty and laziness go hand to hand with that, folks. They're not loyal to us. You know, they're taking the Saudi Arabian money. I mean, you tell me what's going to go down as a more important show. The Crown Jewel 2021 or the fucking Survivor Series, which they've done a very shitty job of promoting. So AEW, Hangman Page, our new world champion. The Lucha Brothers retain. Dr. Britt retains. This women's title tournament, I think it's, to be honest, they should have made that a tag title for women or a six-woman's. Lance Storm, to give him credit, suggested it should have been a woman's six-man title. They don't really need a TBS title for the women. It's just silly. Jade Lethal, all the excitement. Real wrestling fans enjoyed the Full Gear pay-per-view, and WWE fans watched Roman Reigns fight for a crown. So there you fucking have it. Monty and the Pharaoh YouTube channel, AEW Apologist Week 9. Subscribe to Mike Messier YouTube channel in this cross-promotional effort. Thanks for the forum, and have a good week, gentlemen. Week 9 is in the can.